Thank you very much. We will stop it. We will make America great again. You have my word. Thank you very much.
President Trump, any of the assets to pay for this verdict?
And there you go, Donald Trump, a response to Letitia James, and with it all at once, essentially as well, a campaign speech for the frontrunner on the Republican side. Sean Spicer, former press secretary for that man right there. Come on in. I wonder what you make of what you just heard from Donald Trump there at Mar-a-Lago.
Well, I think overall this ruling today was the definition of what happens if insanity and outrage had a baby. This is nuts. The idea that you're fining someone $350 million for something that no one actually suffered from. The banks didn't complain, the insurance companies, everything that Tish James laid out was a complete and utter lie. The children apparently weren't involved in this. This was a vendetta, a campaign promise that she had made on the campaign trail to go after Donald Trump if she got elected. But with everything that's happening in New York City, are you telling me that an event that passed the statute of limitations was the #1 priority of this, to go after something that nobody was harmed from? That the banks didn't complain about, that the insurance companies didn't complain about? This is the continuation of a weaponized judicial system. We're seeing it over and over again. And all they are doing, we talked about the political nature of this, they are playing into Donald Trump's hands. He will withstand this. He will appeal it. But you're pushing more and more voters. The left has gone out and done this. They have no one to blame for this.
But what about the middle? But what about the middle? Because the primaries... Yeah, but the primary, for all intents and purposes, is done.
Right.
So what about the general and independents and those in the middle?
But I think what happens is when you go over the top, if the fine was $10 million, I don't think anybody would think twice about it. But $350 million for something that doesn't rise to that, even close to that level. You look at the nature of other civil fines for accidents, for train derailments, they don't even come close to this. You're telling me that someone who overvalued a property, if this is the standard we're going to hold themselves to, President Trump just brought it up, they valued Mar-a-Lago at $18 million. I'll take that that valuation every day and Sunday, get the financing together, probably from the panel itself, and go down there and buy that. That's a joke. If someone's going to be guilty of valuating property incorrectly, then they're equally as guilty.
How does this play out?
I mean, to me, it feels like the punitive nature, what Sean is speaking to, of the fines, which seem based in no sense of reality. I mean, we still can't figure out where those numbers came from. Added to this being the first in kind, in the sense of how this law was applied to President Trump, combined with the notion that I think Americans on both sides of the aisle, including President Biden in his statements this week against the DOJ, that have added to both sides' attack on, or at least assessment that our justice system is fundamentally unfair, is going to ultimately hurt Americans' belief in a justice system that works for everybody. And when you go back and look at Letitia James's statements, what she campaigned on, the more we focus on that, the clearer it becomes that this was completely politically motivated. I mean, she said things like, I look forward to going into the office every day, suing him and going home. You know, how do you explain that as the top law enforcement officer of the state?
Here the judge said the defendants are incapable of admitting the error of their ways. Instead, they adopt a see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil posture that the evidence belies. I mean, the judge is saying here, these aren't, you know, this isn't the standard bearer of truth, essentially, the Trump family.
Look, taking a step back here, right? Trump's had a good couple of weeks, winning some head-to-head polls with Biden, wrapping up the South Carolina primary, seems like in a little bit, and certainly Joe Biden hasn't helped himself. But now we're heading to another part of this year where most of his time will either be on the campaign trail or in and around a courtroom. And how he weathers that and how he can leverage moments like that to get a message across. You saw him try to kind of jam the migrant crisis in there as a talking point.
All of a sudden, we're talking about, we went from an accountant to the migrant crisis.
Exactly,
which I think
but
is...
like, so he has to leverage these moments when people are paying attention in and around a courtroom to try and get a message out. That's who will determine who is going to win this.
You know, and to that point, I wonder with the Alvin Bragg thing yesterday and Donald Trump saying, I'm going to be at court. Jesse Weber, hang around, because I still have more for you, by the way, Jesse, and Sean. But I wonder with him saying, I'm going to be at court by day, and I'm going to be on the campaign trail by night, if all of this is just giving him a bigger megaphone.
Well, so here's the thing. And my first question about this is, I have long believed that there is a correlation between the length of Donald Trump's neckties and how he's feeling that day. And I don't think he was feeling good today because the necktie was all the way down. He tied it all the way low. Look, Donald Trump doesn't need a platform. He is on the cusp of being the Republican nominee. He is one of the most famous human beings in the world. Anytime that he wants attention, he can have attention. It's not hard for him to get.
That's why when folks say, thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.